Hello there, I'm Roger Cox with www.rogercox.net, and I teach struggling or new network marketers how to succeed with their business, because there's a lot of network marketers who sign up and they just never get going, and they never get the success that they need. They just kind of stagnate, and they just kind of stay there. So I teach them how to get off the fence and get going, and how to start making some success. So if that's you, welcome to my blog. And I encourage you to subscribe to my blog at www.rogercox.net. And again, thank you for coming to my video. I'm going to be talking about what Olympic athletes and neuroscience and how that can help you succeed in your network marketing business. Okay, so if that's what you're interested in, you're in the right place. A couple days ago, I read an interview that Network Marketing Times was doing with Dennis Waitley. Dennis Waitley is one of those guys who's a superstar in the motivational speaking arena. He counsels Olympic athletes. He has trained NASA astronauts, and both of those are areas where a high degree of skill is needed. And he trained those guys. He trained them with mind stuff, on how to motivate them. So he had some interesting things to say in this interview. The first thing that he said, it was, and I'm going to repeat this: there never was a winner who wasn't a beginner. There never was a winner who wasn't a beginner. Now, what does that mean? If you think about Olympic athletes? Now, when I think about them, one of the first things that comes to my mind are the guys, these young kids actually, who are going down this slope, the Winter Olympics. And they're going down this slope, and they jump, and they're spinning, and they're doing flips, and they're doing things that just seem impossible to do. They're doing things that you wouldn't think a human body could do, but they're doing them, and they're just kids. And it's hard to think about, and it's hard to remember that at one time they were just a beginner. They didn't just start doing this right out of the gate. They were a beginner, and they fell, and they landed on their face. So. There never was a winner who wasn't a beginner. Now, a lot of these Olympic athletes, they start preparing for the Olympics 4 to 8 years in advance. They learn how to do this 4 to 8 years. It takes them 4 to 8 years to get to this level of perfection that they do. And what they're doing in that 4 to 8 years, when they're doing their training, they are establishing new neural pathways. Okay, let's talk about neural pathways. When you first do something, it could be very difficult and hard to do, right? Whether that's riding a bike, swimming, or writing your name with your left hand, or whatever it might be, it can be very difficult. But the more times you do that, it gets easier for you, until finally you can do that and you don't even have to think about it. You just do it. That's what a neural pathway is. You're laying down these neural pathways in your head. The first time you do it, it lays a little bit, and each time you do a particular thing, this neural pathway gets a little stronger, until finally it becomes a habit. It just becomes something that you do. Think about this. If you can imagine a nice expanse of nice lawn, nice and green and lush, and you want to save some time, so you cut across the corner on it. You just cut across, leave the sidewalk, and you cut across the corner. Now, the first time you do that, you probably can't tell that you've done that. There's no difference. You haven't made any impact on the lawn at all. But as you keep doing that, and as other people keep to following that same trail across the lawn, you start to see the grass starts to change a little bit, starts to look a little different, the texture's a little bit different, and finally you start to see some bare ground. And as more and more people go across that pathway, and as you go across that pathway, the path gets more and more defined, until finally you've got a highway. And that's how these neural pathways work in your head, in your brain. And that's what they're finding, is that the first time you do something, you may not even remember how to do it the next time. But as you do it over and over, like a habit, that pathway becomes more developed. And in time, that pathway is just there, and it's more like a habit. It just happens without you even thinking about it. It's subconscious. Okay? So with that, in keeping that in mind, you can really learn to do about anything. Remember, we all start as beginners. So you start building these pathways, and you start building. Sorry, I'm seeing all these things go across my screen, and this is distracting me for a little bit. But so you start building these pathways, and you You learn how to play a guitar. You learn how to sing. You learn how to do things that you've never done before by developing these neural pathways. So what's that got to do with your network marketing business? And it's this. When you see people with doing network marketing on the internet, well, first of all, on the internet and on Facebook, there's a lot of noise, right? The internet is noisy. There's all this stuff, coming, and it's noise, and sometimes it's hard to pick out, the valuable stuff and the stuff that's good because of all this noise. And what we see oftentimes with network marketers, and especially with new network marketers, is that they all look alike. They all contribute to this noise, and it's just one big noise, and it all sounds the same. It all looks the same. And in fact, a lot of times when you look at the posts that network marketers make, it looks like they copied and pasted from everybody else and stuck it in there. So everybody looks the same. So if you're a customer, if you're reading these posts and you're trying to decide, on a company or on a product, and you see all this stuff that sounds and looks the same, how do you decide? How do you pick out one thing from all this noise? And that's the problem that we as marketers have online, is we have to figure out some way to stand out from the noise, because otherwise we're just lost. We're part of the noise ourselves unless we can figure out some way to stand out. And the way we do that, in my opinion, in my very humble opinion, is that we have to give value. So in other words, if we're just copying and pasting what everybody else is doing and sticking it down there, the humans that are watching that, they can't tell any difference. We look just the same as the other guys selling the same stuff. And not only that, but the programs that look at these posts on Facebook and stuff, they can't tell the difference either. We all look alike. So you have to stand out. You have to give some sort of a value. So instead of just posting about your product and copying and pasting, the latest copy from your company or from your upline leader or whoever it might be, it sounds good to you. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Get a little original, get creative, and stand out. Look a little different. Give some value. Instead of talking about how great your weight loss product is, maybe give some value about some tips about losing weight. Instead of talking about how great your travel company is, how about giving some posts where you're giving some hints or some ideas, or you're talking about travel in general. Give the people what they want. Give them what they're asking for. Don't copy and paste what everybody else is doing. Don't be part of the noise. Be yourself. Stand out. Find out some way to give value, and then you'll begin to look different from the rest of the whole internet and from Facebook and from all those people who look like just generic ghosts. There's no structure to them. They all look alike, just this form. Okay, so you can learn how to do that. Every winner was a beginner. You can learn how to give value. You can learn how to start standing out from the crowd. Learn how to start standing out from the noise that's on the internet. And when you start doing that, it's going to feel a little tough. It's going to feel a little weird at first, but as you establish these neural pathways, as you do them over and over and over again, you get good at it. And not only do you get good at it, you get to where it's just automatic. It just comes out without you even thinking about it. You're developing, you're creating value and giving that out without even really thinking about it. That's just you. That's who you are. And people are attracted to that. People will look for you when they're looking for a product and all they see is everything looks the same, and then here you are. You're standing out. You're giving some value. You're looking different from everybody else, and they're going to zero in on you. And if they happen to know, like, and trust you, you've got it sewed up. You've got it sewed up. Now, here's the thing. It's not going to happen all at once. I mean, it's not going to happen just bang, you're there. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to develop it. These Olympic athletes, they're doing these flips and these spins when they're coming down the mountain. They had to learn that a little bit at a time. They had to practice. They had to develop, sometimes 4 to 8 years. So that's the way you do it with your network marketing business as well. You start out as a beginner, and you've developed these neural pathways, and you get to be a habit, and the next thing you know, you're getting good at it, and people are seeing that. People are attracted to that. They're attracted to that rather than all the noise that they see on the internet, that everything looks the same. Everybody looks alike. It's copied and pasted. They're looking for the value. They're looking for somebody that stands out. So you can learn that. That's what I'm telling you. You can learn how to do that. It'll take some time, but you can learn. And I'm I can teach you how to do that. I can teach you how to get your business off ground level, because so many network marketers they struggle with getting their business started. Everybody talks about making $1 million in network marketing, but there's a lot of people who has trouble getting even to $100 a month, or even $200 a month. And I can help you get there. I can help you get beyond that if you are willing to learn and to do the work and to implement what you've learned. So if that interests you at all, get in contact with me. Comment down below down there. Say, hey, hook me up. Let's talk. Let's get together. And in the meantime, you can go to my blog at www.rogercox.net, and let's see if we can get your business going. Let's see if we can give your business a chance to grow before you start thinking about quitting. Okay? Because you will think about quitting at some point. And if you're not making any success, it makes it that much easier to quit. So let's get some success under your belt. Let's get something going. Let's get some money coming in. And let's see what we can do together. We'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.